is empty, the night feels cold. Your side of the bed still mine at home. I replay your voice just to fall asleep. One turn away, but it feels so deep. I'm feeling lost, don't know what's right. Praying for peace in the middle of the night. I miss your smile, I miss your face. Trying to trust God's perfect plan. I don't understand why love feels far, but I know you see us where we are. Even when my heart feels weak, I still believe, I still believe. I'm missing you, I'm holding on. Some days I'm weak, some days I'm strong. Feels like I lost you, but I know that's not true. 'Cause God's still here and He's holding you. I'm lonely now, but I'm not alone. Love like ours is written in stone. Through every tear, through all this pain, I put my trust in you again. Some days I'm angry, I won't lie, asking heaven why goodbye had to come so suddenly while I press this honestly. But I'm blessed just to call you mine. A love like yours was so divine. Even distance can't erase what God has joined. Time won't break. If faith is walking without seeing, then I'll keep walking, still believing. Every tear is heard above, covered by your endless love.
Good morning. While I'm popping on right now, I am actually just uploading last week's show YouTube. And I said I would just pop on because I haven't in a few days. So the end of this Dairy PCA show number 1, I debrief what happened. I debrief the protocol for the week. So I was on 0 carbs from Monday to Thursday, how difficult that was. And I think my energy just really dipped, and I didn't really take any videos of like my check-ins in the morning, all that kind of stuff, because I'm sick of myself. I'm sure you all are sick of me. She's like, oh, she's posing again, or like she's checking in again. For me, like, it's great because I get to send them to my coach. I get our daily check-ins. I get to hear the feedback. I get to kind of see like the minimal changes every day and stuff like that. But obviously for anyone who's watching and is like, oh, like you look the same every day, that's absolutely fine. I know how boring it can get, and looking at that and I'm like, Jesus, like that last video I put up, even of like my peak week, was just every morning doing my check-ins. Protocol was 5 litres a day, baseline calories, same thing day in, day out for the whole week. Then last week was a little bit different with the 0 carbs. I had a refeed Friday, so I felt fantastic after that. And then I recorded a leg session, which is going to be probably previous to this. And then I put the camera away. I just haven't like pulled it out. I don't know why. Even like that video that I'm putting up there now, I did not record the extent of what I wanted to get for show day, mainly because I didn't want to have the camera in everyone's faces. I didn't want to like record stuff that people probably didn't want recorded. I would have loved to have like shots in the studio, like backstage where all the athletes were and stuff like that, but like it can be a bit awkward. Now Magda did get a lovely video of me like practicing my posing. I might throw it up on my Instagram, stuff like that. And just kind of, I think I've been more on Instagram this week than I have been trying to actually get content for my YouTube. So it's kind of hard to balance the two. Like sometimes it's mainly this, sometimes it's mainly Instagram, and a lot of you are like on Instagram following me, so you do know what story is there. So yeah, basically I'll catch you up on Friday. I had a refeed. Saturday, we were based on calories, so 200 grams carbs, 130 grams protein, 40 grams fat, something like that. Then yesterday was Sunday, I had a posing lesson and my carbs were dropped to 150 yesterday. And today they are dropped to 50 grams of carbs. And I'm like, why is this happening? Like, why are my carbs now being stripped? Like, because the week before for peak week, protocol was completely different. Carbs were up every day. We were coming in like thicker, all that kind of stuff. Now my feedback was that my lower could do with more muscle. Very funny though, because like when I competed 2 years ago, my lower half was bigger than my upper half, so like now we're after swapping, but that's fine. I'd rather work on my legs now than to have to work on my upper. So yeah, that was the feedback. So I suppose Niall's trying to bring me in a little bit tighter, so that's like why we're reducing carbs. 5 litres of water a day to wash out the kind of water retention, and yeah, deload training. So like that leg session that I recorded was a nice heavy leg session on Saturday, but that was like the last of my heavy sessions. I think Friday I did legs, Saturday I did upper, so those were my two kind of last like full ham sessions, whereas today I went and did legs again, but I kind of did my 2 sets, 12 to 15 reps, lighter weights, just to reduce muscle fatigue. So my session was quite quick. I was a bit sore since Friday, especially yesterday doing my posing lesson as well. And I did a posing lesson Thursday and my ribs were all sore because it's like NPC posing, which is like a little bit different. So yeah, working from home today on my 5 litres water. Today's Monday, and then I suppose it's water loading now until Thursday, and then we are pre-show day Friday. So travelling to Dublin, we're taking Michael's car, it's an electric car, we're going to see how we go. Whole story behind that, we're just, about, like we took my car to Derry because it was hybrid so I could put petrol in it, whereas his is electric, so we're chancing the bigger journey in the electric car since he got it there in March or April when he got it. But yeah, that'll be quite funny. So yeah, there's nothing else to report really. I maybe I'll do a video tomorrow of my check-in just to see how we're looking, or one of the days where I can get like the natural brightness. But my weight actually dropped to 45.5 on Friday, and it went up to about 46 over the weekend, and it's now 46.5 or something like that, just from the carbs and stuff. But I find the earlier I weigh in the morning, which would have been this morning, like 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm like that, like 0.3, 0.4 kg heavier than if I weigh like 4 hours later when I get up at like 8 o'clock if I'm on a day off, if I'm not working, if I'm not in the gym at 5 if I'm not getting up at 5 in the gym for 5:30 kind of thing. So there's a lot of reasons around that. Yeah, just enjoying my coconut cappuccino. Yum. Yum, 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 yum. It's my favourite part of the day. So yeah, that is it. That is where I stand at the moment. Kind of nervous, getting nervous again. I was happy with PCA feedback saying good stage presence, because that's what I wanted. I didn't want to come in looking like an amateur. So just the NPC now is going to be a little bit different, a little bit more quicker. Just learning how to get into those poses and stuff like that. I've had 2 weeks to try and get that under wraps, so I will actually do a bit of posing there now later. I have to wash my stage bikini because I haven't done that yet. I don't know why I avoid doing it, I just always do. It's just a chore that I'm like, oh, for God's sake. So I'm definitely going to do that today because we're 5 days out. It needs to be done, it needs to be dry before the weekend. And yeah, hope everyone's having a lovely May. It's nearly the May bank holiday and it is stunning. The weather really, really helps uplift the moods, I think. I'm just having a Ninja Creamy as a snack. So earlier I had my slim bagel and peanut butter, and today we are on 50 grams of carbs. So really what I did yesterday was I put 400 mils of almond milk, 20 grams dark chocolate. No, so first on Saturday I froze 400 mils of almond milk yesterday with a scoop of protein, so 20 grams of protein. froze that, like mixed up, froze it. Then I put in another 20 grams of whey paste and 20 grams of dark chocolate. So all in all, it was like 310 calories, 15 grams of fat, I think 20 to 30 grams of protein, a high amount of protein, and something like less than 10 grams of carbs. But I couldn't finish it all, and I actually tracked it all, but I couldn't finish it all, so I actually halved it. So essentially this is half of what I just said, so it's about 150 calories, like maybe 4 grams of carbs and maybe 7 to 8 grams of fat. So this is like what I'm planning on doing for prep as well, if I can actually make like an ice cream and have half of it each evening for the summer. So this will be one of my meals. But yeah, I was really full from it yesterday that I tracked it all. I was meant to eat the whole tub, and then I was like, I actually can't eat this, it was so big. So I'm just having this now as my snack. That's a phone for. I will say it's very almondy, like less chocolate, but I'd like it if it was a little bit more sweet. So if anyone has any recommendations on how to get this sweet without like jeopardizing the fats and carbs, Michael was saying maybe like flavor drops or something like that. And yeah, look, this is my first batch that I've made on the creamy, so we can only get better. I'm back. So I was on my Instagram, what day is today? Tuesday. Yesterday, and a few of you might have seen that I put up like a question box, because you know, you might have a lot of questions on like bodybuilding and the stuff behind it itself, and I actually got a few questions that I was really impressed with. So thank you to Kira for bringing in those questions, a few other people as well, like Tracy, Melita, my sister. So I'm just going to answer a few things while I have you. I am just working from home today, so I just said I'd quickly pop on. But my cousin Melita wanted more footage of the green bonnet. So if anyone has seen my last YouTube with the green bonnet on, or like my Instagram when I posted myself on show morning with it on, like I've gotten that bonnet when I completed 2 years ago, when I first got my extensions in, you know, to look after my hair at night time, to put it in that, like just to, you know, keep your hair, the extensions good. At the time it was like the nicest bonnet silk wise I could find on Amazon, whereas the rest, like as in the most cost effective one as well, the rest of them were a crazy amount of money, like 30 to 40 euro. I was like, I'm not paying 40 euro for a bonnet. So unfortunately got the green one, and look, it's been with me now for 2 years, so that's the end of it. So some of the questions here, one is a very good one actually. What's harder, the physical or mental side of prep? And to be honest, I would say the mental side of prep. Like in one sense, it's easy to have a goal. It's easy to have like your limit. Okay, I'm doing this for like 22 weeks. You have to hit your targets, but mentally it can be draining, because like your hormones are changing the leaner you get, and also the more depleted you get, particularly for women. Now men are probably the same, like they probably deal with it in a different kind of way to women, but like you're just like, for me this time I was so emotional around 6 and 8 weeks out. But like the other mental side of it is that I also think I do have a strong mindset, because it's something that I set myself, when I set myself a goal, I always like prepare myself for it. I always remind myself of why I'm doing it. I try not to let it get to me, and also I try to be there for like my family and stuff the way I usually am. Now it might hit me at some point and I might not be the same person that I am on a regular basis, but you know, just being aware of that. And then when it comes to the physical side, it's actually not that bad. Because in your off season, when you're doing your training plan and when you're like doing the regular exercises and stuff like that, I think like you get sore anyway. So you get sore from like reaching new PBs and, you know, being in the gym. But when you're kind of leaning out, it's the same exercises. So I didn't feel like the physical side really affected me that much. Only when it came to posing, again, because this was completely new for me, and just holding poses, like tensing your muscles, Even this week, like going into NPC posing, like my ribs are sore, which they wouldn't have been before. My back is sore. One of my ribs in my back was out of place before I competed last week. So I go to physio regularly, and that's another question as well about recovery and stuff like that. So I'll cover that in a few minutes. Next question, what's your favorite prep meal? So when I am on my low calories, I suppose it's a slim bagel and jam as my pre-workout before I go to the gym at 5:30 in the morning would be that, but it's just something sweet and a bit of carbs with a coconut cappuccino, or I'd have the coconut cappuccino after the gym. But when I'm in my bulk calories for like the refeeds on the weekend, it has to be crumpets. What you can tell from this is I'm a very carby girl, and that just like curves my sweet tooth by having like crumpets and jam. I also love my baked oats because it has like banana, blueberries, whey, eggs in it, and it's very filling. So yeah, you could say there's a few there. And then when I'm on like my zero carb days, I suppose it's my grilled chicken salad. It's just because it's hot food, whereas all the other kind of food I try to have quickly, things that are like easy to prep. So that would be that. Next one, how do you find balancing intensity and recovery? So yeah, so with the intensity and recovery, so for the intensity, I always made sure that while I'm doing my sets that I'm concentrating on mind muscle connection. I know everyone's probably like, oh sure, yeah, we all know that, but no, really, like as in just really concentrating on the reps and sets that I'm doing, making sure I'm feeling that tension. And when I was like 22 weeks out, up to 16 weeks out, even up to 12 weeks out, just keeping my weights as high as I could, keeping the energy in my session and stuff like that. And that would have looked like, you know, taking my supplements to help with that. I found this time I really stayed on top of my supplements, and that helped with the training intensity side of things, with recovery. And then in terms of recovery, again, like I have a trap issue and a lower back issue, so I booked in with my physical therapist every single month, so every 3 to 4 weeks, made sure I got in with him, made sure I had 2 to 3 days of a deload kind of after my physio, just to reset my body, because the intensity, like it does, like you get all tight, like my body just gets extra tight. So you know, that's something that I prioritize in prep, and I actually prioritize it off season. For the last 3-4 years I've been going to physical therapy every single month, just getting my deep tissue massage, dry needling, readjusted, all that kind of stuff, just to make sure that I'm in the best physical state to be able to continue this journey. Next question, does training change as you get leaner? Absolutely. So I found that I think even around 6 or 8 weeks out, my weight started to kind of drop. Intensity wise, I tried to keep the intensity there. Again, as I said, mind muscle connection, just ensuring I was doing the movements correctly. That's why I kind of recorded my sets as well, to make sure that I was still maintaining posture, that I was still maintaining good reps, that I was still fatiguing, you know, where I needed to. But kind of 6 to 8 weeks out, all my sets started to drop by 5 kg, 10 kg, maybe even like leg days nearly 20 kg. Around 5 weeks out, I was getting like gassed a lot easier. So just kind of finding longer breaks between my sets were really helping. So like when people came up to me in the gym, start talking to me for like a few minutes, I found that gave me enough break in between my sets to then go back to it. Because sometimes when I do my sets in the gym, I might just even take 1 minute break and I'll try head back into it, which like the leaner you get, the less food you're on, the more fatigued, the more gas, the less oxygen you have to your muscles. It just all kind of depletes in a way. Next question, what's it like with water and sodium? Is it hard to manage? So I am very bad at water. I was only drinking 1.5 litres a day, and I wasn't taking electrolytes. But the last couple of weeks, especially with peak week, I'm on 4 to 5 litres, which for peak week, it's a different process. You're trying to draw out the water from like your cellular water, so you're trying to like get rid of that from your body. So like the more you drink, obviously I'm peeing a lot, it's just all coming out. But with sodium, I use the low salt sodium it's 66% less salt than normal salt, and I'm meant to be on 12 grams of that a day, but I have to admit I've only been like kind of sprinkling it on my lunch, on my turkey rashers and eggs, and then on my dinner as well. So I don't think I've been having enough. I'd say I've been having about 5 grams of that a day, but obviously it's meant to help because of like when you perspirate you're losing your salt, so to get that back into your system, it helps with like oxygen to the muscle, helps with muscle contraction. I just feel like it hasn't really impacted me this prep with like the sodium intake, but maybe it's something I could concentrate on a little bit more. And then with like sodium, potassium, so that helps with like your nerve signaling and all that kind of stuff. It's just something I didn't really pay attention to, so maybe it's something in my off season that I can pay attention to see does that actually like help me better. And if my coaches listen to this, I'm so sorry. I did try and put salt in, the low sodium salt, into my meals, but you know, it is what it is. I can be a bit lazy sometimes with that kind of stuff. Next question: what's the hardest part of prep around this time? It is after getting hard to watch people eat what they want to eat, and I'm also getting very bored of my food, so it's just kind of sticking to my food, or even trying to make it interesting, or even like going like with work, if I have to visit a supplier on site and the lads go for lunch afterwards, or I have to sit with them, I'm just ordering a coffee, maybe eating my yogurt while they're eating a meal, and that kind of started to get to me only the week before my first peak week, so I would have been 1 week out, and that's kind of the hardest part of this stage. When it comes to peak week, the other hard part is drinking 4 to 5 litres of water a day, like just constantly needing to go to the toilet. Also doing my daily check-ins, because I have to check in every morning, I have to wait for feedback, I have to wait to see what I'm eating for that day, so I can't really like food prep for the day ahead of me because I just don't know what I'm having. This is my second peak week, and the hardest part of this is the 0 carbs that I had to do last week. When I got to day 4, like I had it up on my Instagram, when will I crack? It was day 4. I was just like, this is so unbelievably hard, and I'm so sick of it. I was sick of myself, I was sick of everyone and everything, and I was just like, but I got a refeed on Friday, so it kind of reset me. And yeah, that was really where I struggled in the last couple of weeks. Next question is sleep schedule, and I love talking about sleep. On my podcast I always mention sleep. I mention sleep in nearly every one of them, to be honest, but basically with my sleep schedule, so I am a morning person. I'm able to get up now within reason at 5 or 6 and just get on with my day. But in order to do that, I need to be in bed early the night before. So I say about 2 years ago, I used to go to bed about 9 or half 9 to get up at 4:45 to do my check-ins, and then like hit the road, go to the gym. But I was living in the city at the time, so it was completely different. Whereas now I'm living kind of like for my direction, so I'm able to get up and get into the car, drive to Middleton Fitness at 5 o'clock. But I kind of go to bed around 10. I don't like going to bed later than 10. I got my Aura ring specifically to track my sleep, because I just wanted to see kind of how I felt when I felt, like based off my night's sleep. And I know some people get caught up in that and they're like, oh, I'd rather not track my sleep because it'll impact how I feel during the day. I honestly don't think so. Like, I look at my markers and I'm like, okay, like last night wasn't the best. I might have a score between 68 and 77, which anything under 80, you know, you could be doing a bit better, but I don't let that impact my day. I'm like, right, cool, I didn't sleep the best last night. That's why either my weight's up, this, that and the other. But yeah, my sleep schedule is basically 10 o'clock at night to 5 in the morning, and then on weekends I might push it to 11 because it's the weekend, but it's still, or I know 11 is still early to some people, but I'm up then the next day about 7 o'clock, so 11 to 7, and anything like half 11, I could be in bed till 8 on the weekends these days. I just find like I'm obviously a lot tired this part of prep, because like I'm depleted, I'm training so much, I'm not eating that much, so wherever I can basically have a lie-in and have a sleep in, I'll make sure that I'm in by 10 on the weekdays, 11 on the weekends, and then up at like 5 on the weekdays, and then sometimes 7 on Saturday, Sunday, sometimes 8, depending on depending on circumstances. So yeah, I definitely aim to try get the 8 hours, 7.5 to 8 hours, and during the week it's not, I get 6.5 if I'm going to bed at 10 and up at 5. So that's that. But yeah, in terms of like winding down at night time, it's just like I either read a book, I crochet, or watch TV for a bit just to try wind down an hour before bed, because I find my days are very busy and long at times with like being up for the gym, going to work, and then I'll always have something on after work, and then sometimes going for a walk after work, having to make dinner, having to meal prep. It could be nearly 8 o'clock at night by the time I'm taking a shower. So then I just want to relax, and I always make sure that I have that downtime before bed. So that's good. Next one is how do you balance social life? So how I balance social life is I avoid it. No, I'm only joking. Well, like my life is pretty straightforward in one sense. Like I'm hitting 33 this year, so like all my friends are married, have kids and stuff like that. So for me, like my life is basically gym, work, gym on the weekends, go to see my family, so my sister and my nieces, spend time with Michael and his daughter, and that's basically all I do. In terms of like social events, there wasn't that many for like the first 3 months, so January, February, March was absolutely fine. Then April was a bit busy, so the way I manage that is I will go for a meal, but I will order grilled chicken and rice, or like the time we went to Ballycotton Sea Church, I ordered hake and rice. For Mother's Day, same thing, I ordered chicken salad. So I don't mind going to social events and just sitting there, and as long as I get a coffee, I'm absolutely fine. I also went to a wedding on the 24th of April, so I was 3 weeks out from a show. I didn't eat most of the day. I brought like a yogurt with me or something like that. I mainly had Coke Zero and coffee, but I managed to stay out till 11 o'clock that night. I was on the dance floor. You just kind of have to make the most of it. Like, you're the person choosing to be on prep, so it's like if you want to go out and enjoy that event, go out and enjoy it while sober, or you know, if you're going for a meal and stuff like that, just have a chat with like your family and friends and just be like, look, I have to actually bring a lunchbox with me, or do you know, do you mind if I sit there and have a coffee? People will either get it or they won't, but for me it's like my priority, so that's how I manage it. I put myself first in that situation. But like last week now, I went to the cinema with the girls, and I was on 0 carbs up until Thursday, and I was praying that my food would change on Friday, so I could like at least have a bit of energy to go to the cinema. And it's very rare that like I'm on 0 carbs anyway, so I decided I was going to the cinema, whether or which, even though the smell of popcorn physically nearly killed me. But I brought my baked oats with me, so I just ate that at the start, and I was absolutely fine. It was all good. Another one, how do you stay in such a good routine? I think this one comes down to years of experience. Just because every year, like if you want to level up in your goals, I like obviously started with Niall 5.5 years ago. We went into a bulk. Then I decided to shoot. Then I went into like an off season, didn't really follow that correctly. Did another shoot, decided to compete. So went into like a bikini prep competition prep and did that. Did my off season correctly last year, and then went back into this. I just think it's years of repetition. You learn what works for you, what doesn't work for you, and then as well it depends on how important your goal is to you. That's then when you will stick to your like goal. For example, if you have high rocks, you know you have to hit certain runs a week, certain training sessions, certain carbs to fuel that. Whereas with like a shoot and a show, you know you have to come in at your leanest, you know you have to do the like literally the impossible to get you on that stage. So like I think it's just having so much control over your day, and that helps me again with like sleep schedule, with food prep, with work, my routine. I just need to have it down pat. I'm a stickler for time. When there's something being organized, I'm like, okay, what time do I need to be ready for to leave the house, or what do I need to do to bring stuff with me? It's like thinking ahead and stuff like that, and it just all comes with experience. The next thing is This is Tracy. There's different posing styles. Did not know this. So yeah, each federation has a different posing style, so you have to kind of learn a different routine every time. That's why, like, going into NPC this week, like, my ribs are sore, my lower back is sore. I'm sore in places that I wasn't sore for, because I was so in tune with the PCA posing that now that I've changed tact, like, it's just, it's kind of hard. Like, the transitions, the walk, what they look for, the criteria, it's completely different for all federations. And I'm still learning as I go as well. Like, I'm still an amateur at this, like, so that's it's good in a way to kind of do different federations just to see where you fit. I might stay in NPC, I might not stay in PCA. I might just pick the one federation and kind of aim to try level up in one of those. But for now, I'm just like dipping my feet in the water, seeing where I lie, and then we'll work from there. Next one. Oh yeah, it's Melita wanting to know about the bonnet. But anyway, that is all the questions. So thank you everyone who like took the time to ask me questions, and just, I hope I answered them in some shape or form that like helped you. But if not, just give me a bell on Instagram or whatever. I am always happy to have a chat. If anyone sees me in Middleton, you know, you could approach me and I'll talk to anyone basically. So yeah, today is Tuesday. We are 4 days out.